Webster, one of the founding members of the Crosseyed Rascals. I guess we don't have to ask you, how long have you been a rascal?
Oh, but right from the beginning.
I've been a rascal since the fall of 2017, October, actually. It was the second Station 8 Cafe show.
Apparently, I started in 2012, which is a long time. Like that's 9 years now. Is that right? Is my math correct?
Yes. I do believe so. My math is horrible too. So.
Right. Well, okay. We'll go with 9 and someone can correct us.
Yeah, don't take my word for it.
First you're swan, then you're a pig. First you're digging for gold, and there's nothing to dig. It's such a hard thing to figure out.
So many things. I earn my living working for the Rady Faculty of Health Sciences. So I work in education there. But there's so many other things. I really sort of, in the last decade or so, really sort of come into my own as understanding myself as an educator. So almost everywhere I land, I end up teaching somewhere. So I teach lightsaber combat. I've been doing that for about 8 years. Teach and study at the same time, because you got to do a little bit of both. I've become an avid cyclist. I serve on a couple of different boards and part of a church plant where, again, I teach. I think that's probably where I live right now, is I'm an educator.
I do cooking and exercise, and I've got my work as a software consultant for the government with a team of mine. And I do my health and wellness coaching, that I'm sort of my second career, as it were. So yeah, that's what I do on the side. And acting.
You just recently got your master's degree, and
I did. I did a 2-year program in 5 years.
While I've been a rascal, I've worked at the same place. I worked at Merit Motion Pictures, since I graduated with my undergrad. But since then, I have gone back to school because that seemed like an important thing to do. And I'm currently completing my MA.
Well, a big thing, I guess, I went on a retreat last year. Went to Costa Rica, and that was basically life-changing. And from there, I decided to do health and wellness coach training and to kind of shift into that. And so I'm working on building that business. So that was pretty big. The pandemic also happened.
Such a hard thing to figure out what to do. You wake up with a vision or some big idea. Could have been the holy water, could have been the sand.
I like playing this voyageur character, and like doing the voices. And I've used them once in a while, and I really like that. I was sort of training. I think I was with Cora, and I was training her on how to be a voyageur and to do the fur trapping and the bear trapping, and it was just so much fun. It was one of the first scenes I had done with her.
I think the one that sticks out the most, Mitch, I'm going to be honest, is the one with you. We were at a women's group, and they just wanted to come in and entertain them at this church, at this women's event. So it was just women, and the only rascals available, even though we had a full complement, was you, me, and DJ, 3 guys to go to the women's event. And we did a day in the life. And this woman described that part of her day was she'd had a mammogram. And I still remember you and I were just connected that day. And I went over and I mimed grabbing your imaginary boob, and you just stayed stationary while I stretched it all the way across the stage and clamped it in the vise, and you were writhing in pain, and the audience was just killing themselves laughing. And the woman whose day we were doing, like her day in her life, she was laughing so hard she fell out of her chair, especially when I hit the vise, and it just kind of snapped back into place. And you took the timing of it and you whipped yourself off the chair because it snapped back into place. And she almost lost continence. Like, it was such a brilliant moment. I couldn't have done it without you and DJ there. And it was just a crazy, crazy, fun, glorious inappropriate moment?
I think one of the most significant memories for me is the show that we did, the Christmas show that we did after you had your stroke. It was obviously a very intensely strange time, a very sad time, and a very complicated time for everyone. But I just remember Tim contacted us, and let us kind of know what was going on. And I think at that point, you were out of surgery and you were talking about the stuff that we still needed to do for the show. And we didn't know if we could do it, but we pulled together and we did it. And it wasn't the same. And it was a very kind of emotionally charged show, but we pulled together and we did it. And that was kind of the first time that I felt like we were sort of thrown into a state of chaos that we climbed our way out of in a way that was pretty inspiring.
We did another one I did with Cora also, where it was emotional zones. And we were getting over, what was it? I guess we were kind of getting over our fear or something like that. And we literally kind of crossed this middle zone, which was fear or something, and kind of came across, and it was just this touching moment.
In sort of the same parallel track is the I Heart Mitch show, which I think was sort of this moment of celebration for you and for everybody. And I feel like that show in particular was just so, that audience was so on board, I think, with everything that we were doing, and so involved in a way that I had never experienced before. And they were kind of as much a part of the team as we were that night. And I thought it was just beautiful.
Hard thing to figure out the middle of the two. Maybe you're a visionary, maybe you're a liar, maybe start a conversation, or maybe start a fire.
I have played them all. We can talk about both. I got to be honest, my favorite game is Taskmaster. I love playing Taskmaster. It's quick. It's got really concise rules to it. And it's just a question of how quick are you? And I love it when the Rascals just pile on problem after problem after problem, because there's a solution and it goes wrong, and a solution and it goes wrong, and a solution and it goes wrong. And whether you complete the task at the end or you fail at the end, it's just an amazing ride for 2 minutes.
Yeah, games like Countdown are my favorites because we are invested in moving things forward, I think, story-wise. So those games I really love. And then I like games like Shoulda Said because they're fun and silly and funny. And I like games where you can sort of come up with a character and then take them to places that you might not have thought that they would end up.
I like Alphabet. I like the difficulty of Alphabet in the sense of you're just sort of saying one line after the other, and you're forced to be using another letter every time. And if that game is done well, or you feel that you're really building a scene together, as opposed to just kind of putting out your idea, but it's that progression, that it's going somewhere. When that happens in Alphabet, or even in Questions, for instance, it's really impressive. It's really special at the end. You're like, that really meant, that was something.
It's such a hard thing to figure out what to do. Figure it out for me.
I always felt like I was somehow more suited to improv than to doing like scripted drama. And I don't know why exactly. I feel like there's some kind of block that I have where scripted drama almost forces me to be specific, whereas improvisation allows me to be not more broad in terms of comedy, although that happens sometimes, but more open to possibilities. So you can do anything, you can be anybody, you can be anything.
I just love this group, and even during the pandemic, like it's kind of been wearing a little bit on me. And I've been busy, I've been doing things, and it hasn't been that much of a struggle for me, which I've been fortunate for. But even in the last couple of months, when I was kind of thinking ahead of my week. We had our rehearsals coming up, and I had this sense of relief, or of like, oh, good, like there's this practice and there's a way to connect with some people, and that's really a memory for me, like right now, and that's a meaningful thing for me right now, is the fact that we get to continue hanging out and doing our stuff that we all like, and especially doing the shows too. So
I would have to say that the Rascals are much more to me than a weekly improv troupe. The Rascals, in all its entirety, all 36 alumni, current members, all the shows we've done, all the places that we've been, it's a significant portion of my life. I would even say that some of my identity is kind of wrapped up in being a Rascal. And that's not being on a stage performing. That's all the things that come with it. That's the publicity, that's the practices, that's being there for each other when things are going sideways, like they are right now, or when things happen in our lives. We are there for each other in so many more other capacities than just sharing a stage and being on a show.
It's a hard thing to figure out exactly